G'day, Dan here from Epic Drives Western Australia. I've ditched the four-wheel drive and I'm walking the Bibbulmun Track by myself, and I'm planning on walking 3 days, 2 nights from Brookton Highway to across the Albany Highway. So it's not exactly a massive adventure, but I'm not the kind of hiker who goes out and walks 30-40 kilometer days, and I want to film stuff, so I'm going to take it easy. The weather is really bad. It's predicted to rain every day that I'm out. Thunderstorm tonight, possible hail, but then I doubt it. And I've never had a terrible experience walking the track in the rain, but I've never been out when it's been really severe. And it possibly could be tonight, but it's not a huge distance to the first camp, so just plan on getting there hopefully before the weather gets really bad, which is predicted to happen this afternoon. And if it doesn't, I get wet. Well, I get wet. I've got dry clothes. It's all part of the experience. See how I go. Showers have cleared a bit for the time being, so nice going. Got a cruisy start to the hike. I'm only doing exactly about 7 odd k's to the first camp, so nice little warm up. Tomorrow I'm just doing, I think, about 16, and then the end to Albany Highway is a fairly short hike, and I'm not planning on getting to the end until that afternoon. So this hike really is just about taking my time and enjoying it, really. I'm in no rush. Best way to be. Spicy sausage. Really nice view out over the hills. You can see the sort of rain hopefully on camera. It's starting to kind of creep in again. It's really going to be on off with rain the whole time, which, to be honest, I don't really mind, as long as it's not, obviously just rain and cats and dogs. If it's a bit light sprinkle, I'm all for that when you're hiking, because it's a nice refreshing thing. As long as you got some dry clothes to get into once you get to your camp. We're literally only probably about 5 k's in at the moment, so still warming up, so no complaints yet. Nice little shower. And I've said this and I'll say it again, I love hiking because it's such a slower pace than four-wheel driving, that you see stuff that you don't tend to see whilst four-wheel driving, and obviously not covering as much ground, but it's nice, that slower pace of life. And I love just having the only responsibilities really of what's on your back and getting to the campsite that you're sleeping for the night, and that becomes the main focus of your everything, which is quite nice to just put work life behind you and just have this as your mini world for a few days. Love it. Beautiful spot. This is where I'm going to stop. thing I like when hiking, well, there's many things I like when hiking, but I kind of bring stuff that doesn't really keep very well for the first day. So I kind of get the best food on the first day, and then as time goes on, just get more of the sort of freeze-driedy stuff. And I'm obsessed with hummus, and that's such a better snack for me than like nuts, because I'm not a big fan of trail mix and that kind of thing. So I'm gonna sit here and enjoy it. This is just beautiful. Winter's definitely got some pros. The rain sucks, but you get nice streams that really only flow, you know, during the depths of winter when we got plenty of rain. And this place is just magic. I'm only halfway into day one, and I've already found a place that is just pristine, beautiful. And I love that you can just sit your stuff down. You don't have to worry about anyone coming along and nicking anything. There's people around. I've seen 3 hikers, a group of 2 and just 1 guy on his own so far. There were a whole heap of cars parked on Brookton Highway. I'm not sure whether they're going to be at this campsite that I'm heading to, but the people I've met at campsites since I started have all been really top people. So it's always nice to bump into people. As much as it's nice to be all by yourself on a track like this, sometimes it's nice to just bump into people. I mean, at the moment, you know, it's only WA residents, but before this whole COVID thing happened, I was meeting people from all around the world. A lot of Germans enjoy the Bibbulmun Track, and New Zealanders, and obviously people from over east, and then WA people. If you haven't done the Bibbulmun Track before, even just for a day, you don't need to bring a whole heap of stuff. There's a whole heap of nice walks out towards Kalamunda that are very easy. Get out there and do it. This is a great time to get out because you can't be going anywhere else. You can thank me for it later. I'm gonna have lunch, and I'll see you in a bit. All done with lunch. Rain started to come down again, so I'll start walking. And just met a bloke doing the end-to-end, one of the true heroes, not like me. He started, well, obviously a while ago, and he's got 2 days to go to get to the end. So his 2 days is my 11 days. But my excuse is I've been walking some of it with the boys. I'd love to be one of those people who said I had the motivation to walk 1,000 kilometers, but I'd just be lying. I much prefer doing, well, for me at the moment, 3 days is pretty good. I like that, it's comfortable, and I like a warm bed too much. Who knows, maybe it'll change one day. The rock thing was pretty cool. I think that's the highlight for day one. So next will be the campsite, and apparently there's a group there, but they're just doing a day walk. Don't know whether they're staying the night, but we'll find out, and you know, might meet some friendly people, might have it to myself, who knows. So hit a boot washing station, which is quite common along the Bib, because we're entering an area affected by dieback, and well, that's clearly not what we want. This guy, no, well, he's a bit better. Normally not full of sand, but well, that's a worn out brush. We'll give it a go. So the idea is you just brush any mud and stuff off your boot. Pretty fortunate on the track today because it's pretty wet, so drop my radio. Oops. It's been pretty wet, so my boots have been sort of being cleaned as I walk through all the puddles, but just give them a go over. Token gesture, I guess, to get any of the spores that, which is how dieback spreads, and we'll see if we can see any of the effects. It's a pretty awful thing to happen to the bush, the old dieback, because it does look pretty average. So I guess anything you can do to try and help prevent it. So if you're driving a four-wheel drive and you've driven through an area, well, good practice really is wherever you get the opportunity to give your tyres and the underbody of your car a bit of a spray, give it a go. Certainly after every track you do, because if you're driven through an area and you've collected the spores on your car and so you head out somewhere else that hasn't been affected, you could possibly spread the dye back, and it's just good practice anyway to keep your car clean, to avoid rust and everything. And a similar sort of thing on the bib, if not more important, because I want to keep the bib looking as fresh and as natural as possible, and all the usual stuff as well, like making sure you take all your rubbish with you. You know, you're not taking stuff from nature. Don't go and collect, you know, stuff on the track. Take photos and leave footprints, or whatever the saying is. Yeah, we're only about 5.5 k's in, just taking it so easy. I'm in no rush. I've got 3 days to cover, I don't know, like just over 30 k's, which is my kind of pace. I'm no hero when it comes to hiking, but I do love it. Nice open bushland. I love when the bush goes from being, you know, you're underneath the canopy. Great when it's raining, you get a little bit of protection, just get the bigger drops falling on you, but it always opens up into areas like this, which is you got some, that's potentially dieback, I guess. There you see areas that are heavily affected by it, and it's just an expanse of rotting plants, and it's a very easy to just walk along with your feet and spread it. We're through the area that's meant to be dieback, because not much further up there's another boot washing station. So I guess in reality it's more important to get my boots clean this side as I've come that side. I don't know. Nice bridge, little stream. I didn't anticipate doing any sort of water crossings on the path. I don't think there's any, but I haven't got Wellington boots or anything. So I think what I'll be doing is taking my boots off. I've got some boardies on, and I'll just go across like that and hang them up when I get to camp to dry off, but I don't think there's any. Still loving it, still happy. I just passed the crew that I'm pretty sure are the day hikers that I was told about by the bloke doing the N10, and so I don't know whether this campsite's going to be empty or not. We're edging closer, and they're always nice people on the Bibbulmun Track. It's amazing how communication spreads so quickly up and down, because you're passing on messages from the people behind, and you're getting messages from the people as you approach them, and it's the old school way of texting. And yeah, so from what I heard ahead, that there was a group down here and they're at the camp, so I was looking forward to seeing some people at the camp, and then I just passed them and they've told me that there's no one at the camp now that they know of, and I'm sure once I get there I'll meet some more people and I can pass on messages that I've had from behind me, if I get any. I haven't really had any really important stuff that I've been told, apart from I was looking forward to a place called Monadnocks hut, and I asked the bloke that had stayed there last night what it was like, and he said it's just another hut. So oh well, still nice to get to somewhere that's a bit of shelter and sit down, take your boots off. Not that I'm walking that far, make it sound like I'm on a mission. But maybe it'll change in 2 days time. I'll be whinging about my feet, but so far so good. Got a couple of tiny hot spots on my feet, and the going sort of advice is the minute you start to feel any kind of soreness on your feet, that's the time to treat it. And I use these just, they're band-aids, but they're designed for blisters, and I just stick them on. But I don't tend to do that until I start the next day at camp. I've got the really super trendy Crocs, and I just sort of wear them and air my feet out, and then the next day before I set off I'll sort my feet out. But if it does get bad, I have stopped before the side of the track and just dealt with it, and there's no point in being a hero with sore feet, because, you know, lucky with a four-wheel drive, you wouldn't drive with a flat tire. Why would you walk with sore feet? But sometimes you just want to get the K's down, but it just slows you up, turns what should be something of a pleasurable thing to look around at the scenery and everything, but instead you're just thinking, oh, my feet are killing me. Turns into something that is not fun, especially if you're wet as well. Anyway, I do like to ramble a lot. Track's kind of a mini river, but it's nice. It's not hot, and the best thing is there's no flies, and I'm hoping, and there shouldn't be any mozzies. I've got a mozzie repellent thing that I use, a little gas powered thermocell it's called. Normally bring that, but I haven't bothered this time because I didn't think there was any need. Frogs. Cool. To give you an indication of how slow I go when I'm hiking, I was just trying to think, I'm pretty sure I'm on day number 12 on the track, and I'm not even up to 100 k's. And then for people who are decent hikers, the distance I've travelled is a 2-day hike, but I take it at a really slow pace because I stop all the time. I film and I look at stuff, and I'm happy with that. I could never see myself being someone who can walk 40 k's in a day with a backpack too. That's intense. But we've reached the other boot cleaning station. Someone's left the lid off and it's filled with water. I'll close that one. No, that's because it's stuck. Well, that makes sense. Oh, a little seat for your backpack if you want it. No brush, that's good. We'll just do that. I guess that's probably doing nothing. At least I can say I did it. So, there's a new hut. Oh, there's some stuff on here about dieback. Let's have a look. So there you go. I don't know what it's about. And we're only a couple of k's now away from camp number 1. Haven't really done the k's to exhaust me. And it's the only times I've ever slept really well on the Bibbulmun Track is when I've walked, so 20 k's and I sleep like a baby. But today I'm pretty fresh. So I don't want to have a late night. I want to try and get an early start. I've got 16 k's tomorrow, which is my biggest day, which probably for most hikers ain't nothing. Halfway through day 1. I'm just going to take it in and enjoy it. Lightly raining, which in my circumstances right now is a beautiful thing. It's funny when you're at home how you think of rain compared to when you're hiking. I'm sure everyone at home is thinking I'm completely mad. But if you've walked the Bibbulmun Track when it's raining and you enjoyed it, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Only a K to go now until we reach the first campsite, and it's only been just over 8.5 k's, so I like to set myself small targets to hit. That way I'm never let down. Easy. See how much further we got to go. 200 meters. So any time now I'll be there. Cruisy. Got plenty of time. It's only 3 o'clock. 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. Wow, I've got a lot of time to hang out at camp. It's always nice. I sort of was anticipating I'd take a bit more time, stop a bit more, do more sort of photography, but I didn't actually end up bringing my camera because I like packing light, obviously, and my Canon's not waterproof, and I knew the weather was going to be pretty awful, so I left that at home. So I pretty much just smashed it out. Got here, well, I haven't smashed it out, I haven't gone exactly fast, but I can see it. There we go. Let's go see if there's anyone home. Here we are. This is Canning Hut. There's no one here. Which isn't to say there's going to be no one here tonight. I'm here very, very early. But so far, just me, so I've got first dibs. And get the backpack off. Sign in and relax. Wow, rain is starting up again, so good timing. But that's not to say I didn't get slightly wet. Well, I'm very wet, but in a happy way. Don't think there's going to be any dry firewood. Oh, the legends. So I'll, one of my first jobs I'll do is I'll go and get some more wood, but a good idea is never collect wood directly around the campsite, because all that does is clear it out for, yeah, it just becomes a barren nothingness. So I'll walk up the track and into the bush, and I'll get some stuff from in there, just some kindling, and this looks like there's plenty of large wood. I'll just grab a small bit, and for the next lot that come through, it's all very wet, so that's great that they've done that. Get the fire going for if we got anybody else comes. Happy, I'm happy. The first thing that I did when I arrived is I set my spot to send a message, which I pre-wrote before I left, to tell my wife that I've arrived here. Okay, it takes a while, and you need a clear line of sight to the sky. So I've just got it on the bench there. It is, from what I understand, waterproof. I'd say water resistant. I'm not going to put it under water. If it starts pouring, I'll move it under, but clear line of sight to the sky there, and it flashes. Oh, it's already sending, I think. Normally what happens is it will flash GPS to say it's looking for a GPS satellite, but I have been sending a few messages to say that I'm okay anyway, so I think it's already connected, so it's flashing that it's sending it already. And this is the button here I pressed, and you hold down about 5 seconds. This other button here is to leave breadcrumbs, so I can I've set it to every hour. You can set it for 10 minutes or whatever, you know, whatever you want, but every hour for me, so it will show up on Google Earth as to where I was, you know, every hour. And this one here I've set to just say, yeah, everything's okay. If you do need to send more important urgent messages, you have to remove this bit here, and under here, that one there is, it's sent to a person that you nominate. Basically, save our vehicle or SOS, and you can pre-write that. So you can say, you know, I've got there that it's not life-threatening, but I need picking up, and when everything hits the fan, you've got the official SOS here. If I can open it. It's good that it's hard to open. Well, not hard, but that one there, if you press that one, that's the one that sends out a signal to the emergency services to come and get you. But the thing to remember is they're not going to rock up in 5 minutes. It could be hours. I mean, depending on where you are in the world, it could be days. So it's not a fail safe, but that'll get you, you know, the helicopters and the, you know, whatever coming out to get you. On the Bibbulmun Track, I don't think it would be a helicopter, but anyway, they'll come out to get you. But obviously, you do not want to press that button unless it's a last resort. Most times you can you know, find your way out, and short of breaking your leg or getting stung by a snake or something. Hopefully you'd never need to press that button. But that's my first job done. Next job is going to be unpacking everything and setting up my tent, and then I'm going to have something to eat, and I might look at starting the fire. So I may have jumped the gun. First rule of housekeeping is you sign in. So in here, you've got a campsite with, well, it's a notebook, but that's amazing. That is beautiful. So you can write whatever you want. You don't have to write anything if you don't want to. Always nice to have a read through, read about people's trips and stuff like that, and clearly people's impressive art. Then you've got the logbook, which is really important to sign in. And the reason for that is if you do go missing, people can come here. One of the first things that will happen if you're reported missing is people can come here and have a look, see if you signed in, and that's where they know you were last at, you know, hut-wise. So if you were planning on coming to this hut, then the next hut they can go through, they can see you signed in here, and perhaps for whatever reason you didn't sign in the next hut. Therefore, you're probably somewhere in between those two huts, which makes, you know, rather than searching in 1,000 kilometers of track, they're searching between two huts. So that's important, so I'll do that now. Let's have a gaze now. You know, I've sort of done this on previous videos anyway, but we've got the date, which is the 16th of the 8th, 20. So you can have your track name or your group name or your own name. So I'm going to put Epic Drives, Western Australia, which is a bit of a silly name for a hiking group, but anyway, not that I'm a group, part of an organised group. I'm definitely not. Don't look. Oh dear, it's embarrassing. They probably need to update this one. Well, country of residence or Australian city, town and state. Oh, where I'm from, Perth. Start point of the journey. All right, so I started at Brookton Highway, so we'll stick that one in there for start point. And I'm ending at Albany Highway. Sullivan Rock is the official term of where I'm ending. Expected duration of this journey, embarrassingly, 3 days, and I'm overnighting here. And if you want to, you can record your thoughts in more detail. You know, basically put whatever you want. I think I'll leave that one blank. So that's the first thing to do when you rock up, so you don't forget in your own interest. And it also helps the Bibbulmun Track Association keep track of how many people are on the track. It's all a voluntary organisation, so it's, you know, in everyone's interest, so that we know how popular it is or how unpopular it is, and which sections are the most popular, and all sorts of other reasons. I'm gonna stick up all my wet gear to dry, because there's a clothesline here, which is great, and there's an awesome picture up there too. Jeez. You gotta love the Bibbulmun Track. It's full of cool, quirky things. Here we go. I don't drink tea, but when I'm in the bush, I drink tea. I drink chamomile, and I also drink strawberry tea. Sorry. All right, so I know the first question that you might have is, why have I set a tent up underneath a perfectly good shelter? And there's really two reasons why I kind of do that. The first one is I've got added warmth, so it's just another layer over me, because the shelters are three-sided. So if you've got a breeze coming through the front and you're in there, well, you keep dry, but you get the wind, and it obviously gets pretty cold at night. So I stay in there. And the second reason is if it does get really busy, I'm a heavy sleeper at home, but I think when I'm out anywhere else, like camping, I'm a pretty light sleeper. So things like snoring just keep me up all night. So if it does get really busy, or if there's a snorer, a simple matter of just picking the tent up. It's not pegged, obviously, and I just carry it over to the tent sites, which we'll go check out. And that's why I do that, basically. It probably looks a little bit rude if somebody rocks up that I'm taking up all that real estate. I'm happy to move. I mean, if it's going to be busy, I'd rather camp, not because I'm antisocial, but as I said, just because I do want to get a good night's sleep, and well, it leaves it free for people who don't have a tent as well. But it is always a good idea to carry just a tent. That's a $12 tent from Kmart. It's nothing fancy. It doesn't have a fly, so it's not the best thing in wet weather, but it does the job. I'd rather be in here, but given the options of a flappy tent or a loud snorer, I'll take a flappy tent. That's just me. If you don't bring a tent, well, you're committed to here, and they can get busy. I have been to huts where there's been about 8 people all sleeping in the hut, and luckily I had a tent, and so I had the campsite to myself, which is always probably about 20-30 meters from the hut, and you can join in the conversation late into the night around a campfire, and then retreat to your tent and not have to worry about rolling over or giving someone you don't know a hug by accident during the night. So that's why I do that. All right, so I'm only out for 3 days. So I've bought minimal food, really. Bit of rubbish in there now already from what I've eaten. Have a look at some of that a bit later. I've got sleeping bag, which is rated to 0. It's duck down, which is really what you want in winter. It might not get to 0, but better to be, over warm than under warm. I've got a charger for my phone, and I'm charging the GoPro right now as I'm recording this. So a couple of chargers, headlight torch. There's no point in bringing a regular torch because it's annoying. I've got a poncho. This is really for if it really did start to hammer down and I had to stop. That's about the only reason why I'm going to need that. An inflatable pillow, which is virtually useless, but I've got that. I've got my drone, so I've sort of packed it down as small as possible into this little case, and I'll hopefully be able to charge those batteries as well, but if not, oh well. Got my cooker in here. Hot water bottle, so simple. Heat some water up, stick it in the sleeping bag. First aid kit. I've got a snake bite kit in here as well, which is probably not that necessary this time of year, but still there. My clothes, so just some clothes to sleep in. Just going to be a bit disgusting and wear the same clothes that I'm wearing at the moment. Life straw bottle. People freak out when they see me fill up from the water tanks, which is one just here. This time of year, geez, there's so much rain around that the water's going to be pumping in there. But during summer, I take the slight risk. I just put my water in there and drink from it, and trust what they say that it's going to be safe. Some couple of gas bottles. I've got 2. I probably don't need 2. But I've got 2 because I had the space, and that's basically it. My backpack, this is just a cheapie, and my tent. The other rule when you're at the campsite, take your shoes off. I've got my Crocs, but just go in up there with your socks and keep it clean. It's a simple thing that if everyone does the right thing, place stays clean. You don't have to get here and sweep it. When you leave, you just do the right thing, and when you get to the next camp, hopefully that person's done the right thing. I haven't come across a campsite yet that has not been spotless. That's kind of the general rules. You've obviously got to respect other people. It's never nice having a group of people rock up that want to party on into the night and you're trying to sleep. But again, I've never come across that. I've heard, you know, people complaining about that sort of thing on the track. I'm sure it happens. I'm sure some people are a lot more sensitive than others. I certainly wouldn't appreciate, you know, a drunken 2 a.m. party on the bib, but most people that come here, it's not what it's about anyway. Common sense stuff, really. The weather's gone quite nice. It's just on and off. You can't sort of gauge what's going to happen at the moment. The minute I think the sun's coming out, it starts bucketing down. But that's all about being in the bush. Got plenty of birds around. Have a listen. Just beautiful, and I'm here by myself. And I'm not even in the middle of nowhere, so anybody can come here and just enjoy what feels like remoteness and be, you know, a couple of hours walk from the highway. In fact, the whole way down I could hear cars, so I'm not even yet beginning to touch the real backyard Bibbulmun Track. I'm virtually walking along the highway, but just beautiful. Early afternoon, plenty of time, just cruise into camping here. Doesn't get any better apart from forward driving. That might be slightly better, but I digress. That'll do. Tent set up. We'll get the fire going, give it a crack. It's pretty wet. Who knows? When it comes to me lighting fires, I spend the entire night trying to get the fire going, and when it's going, I'm going to bed, and then I spend a while trying to put it out again. And we've got a proper fire pit, so we'll see how we go. But I don't like my chances in this weather anyway, but it's going to get mighty cold later, and I can hopefully save a bit of gas by boiling my water, making my dinner. I've just got noodles. I always eat noodles on the track because they're so easy, and mee goreng noodles, they're mighty fine in my opinion. So I was going to start the fire, but the weather's set back in as it has been all day. Might get a bit of another chance to give it a crack, but I don't like my chances of having a fire tonight. I don't know if there's a lot of point because it's just going to be doing this anyway, and it'll put out any of my good work, waste some wood, and I'm hardly going to be sitting out in the rain around a fire when I've got a roof over my head. I've got my tea going. I may or may not have put something in there to give it a bit of a kick, and this is me for the rest of the day, and I love it. There's not many opportunities you get in life where you can just wait out the weather and you've got nothing else going on because there's nothing else around. And I've got my clothes hanging up there to dry from today. We'll get them all wet again tomorrow, and Groundhog Day tomorrow. Walking, getting to a campsite and enjoying it. This is awesome, even though it's raining. And anyone at home watching probably thinking you're crazy fool. I know my wife thinks I'm mad, and I thought I was mad, but I like it. I know it's not for everybody, but it's, you know, when it's raining, it's not exactly freezing. If it was a blue sky in the middle of winter and it was windy, it'd be a bit miserable. I like the sound of rain. All right, let's talk about an important aspect of hiking, and that's nutrition. Now, as an experienced hiker, I'm only joking, the stuff that I've got is probably the stuff that most really serious hikers would probably say, yeah, steer clear of. But anyway, let's run through what I've got. I've got, first of all, this is kind of a good thing. I've got tea, coffee, sugar in this bag here, and that's for the mornings and at night as well. Then I've got also kind of okay, I guess, is their honey and salted cashews or peanuts. I haven't even tried them. I think they're peanuts. Then I've got Cliff Bars. I love Cliff Bars. I guess they're also considered semi-okay. And then like a child, I've got some Uncle Toby's fruit roll-ups. Snickers bars, always good when you just need a bit of something on the track. And then I've got beef jerky, 3 packets of them, and I'm intending on putting them in my mee goreng noodles. Then I've got sausages. Love these things, great, they're spicy. I love anything spicy. And yeah, this is probably the worst part of it. Skittles, M&M peanut ones, and some Haribo. And that's my Scroggin, which I know Scroggin's meant to be like trail mix and healthy stuff, and I've tried it and I'd rather starve, to be honest. It's just not me. I know a lot of people like eating nuts, and I wish that was me. They give you a bit of energy, but you get that sugar crash. But I just figure, you know, if you eat it and you keep eating it, you're not going to have the sugar crash. But anyway, that's me. So that's my food for 3 days. Plenty there, and I'm not going to go hungry. I don't know if you've got issues with that. Yeah, let me know. You probably shouldn't be eating such rubbish, but I reckon that's kind of okay for what it could be. I mean, if there was a Macca's or a Hunger's or a KFC along the track, I'd be going for that. So I reckon I'm doing all right. Okay, so just for laughs, I'm going to try and get this fire going. If I do get it going, I'll happily sit out here and enjoy the fire if it's not pouring down with rain. But I'm not going to give it too much of a go because I don't want to waste wood if it's just going to be pointless. So I'll give it a crack. My history with lighting fires is terrible. I'm sure it's, well, it would match my fishing ability. We'll give it a go and we'll see. Here we go. Everything that you just saw, yeah, don't try that. Wow, I don't know whether people do that. I kind of secretly do. Lighting the fire with the camp stove. It's probably extremely dangerous. I wouldn't be surprised if it is, but it's kind of going. But whether I keep it going, that's where I run into trouble. The weather's kind of terrible. When it rains, it seriously rains, so might get a bit. I'll give it a crack. Get some of this wood on. If I can get a large bit going, it might just survive the weather, and when it's not pouring down, I'll go and warm myself up by the fire. It's going. Home sweet home for the night. No one here yet. If all of a sudden you see me in the morning, it's because someone rocked up, and I'm always too embarrassed to film. Plus, they probably don't want to be on my silly videos anyway, so. But so far, so good. And 4 o'clock. Wow, 6 o'clock, and the rain was persistent last night, which is a good thing I went to bed early. So I had, you know, bit of sleep, and I'm gonna start packing away pretty soon once it gets light. I'm filming in the dark, you can't possibly see me or much. And pack away and get going, because today's the longest day of my 3-day hike, so I'll get that out of the way as soon as I can this morning, so we can get there as early as we can. Have some breakfast and then pack up and be on the track again. First priority is a coffee, and then something to eat, and then begin to take down my camp, tidy up, and hopefully be out on the track by 8:30, and we'll be out there for the day. Hopefully get there well before dark, but you know, if I'm stopping a lot, might not, but that's the plan. Saying goodbye to the camp. On the road, back on the track obviously, and pretty sure, I'll double check, but 16 k's today to get to Monadnocks for my final night. And I had all my stuff drying last night, but the rain was sort of horizontal at times, so I'm still wet. I was dry last night sleeping, and yeah, just a bit wet this morning with the clothes I was wearing yesterday, but I'll warm up. It doesn't seem to sort of matter how cold it is on the track, I still end up getting pretty warm. So left the camp as I found it, hopefully. Well, I'm sure I did. And here we go. It's raining still. Bit of a tricky spot just to be wary of if you're staying at Canning. Literally 100 meters from the camp, there's a right-hand turn, but the track looks very much like you go straight. So if you miss that woggle, you're off on the wrong track, which is good because that track looks pretty boring. So back into the forest, take a right-hand turn. That's if you're heading south, obviously. It's 20 to 9. I left camp probably 10 minutes ago, so I left slightly later than what I planned, but that's all right, because I don't have to be there at any time apart from preferably before dark. And I'm not exactly the world's best map reader with a compass, that sort of thing. I've got them, so if I really need it, I'll have to freshen up on my skills. But I use Guthook, which is an app which I'm sure if you walk the Bibbulmun you've heard of, and it's just so handy. It's like having Google Maps for your car. It's literally the Google Maps for the track. So if you're ever in doubt, you can just stick the app open. You can see whether you're on the track or whether you've veered off, which is what I used to double check that I was going the right way just before. And it's so easy, and it's just sort of peace of mind. You don't want to rely on it though, because if your phone battery dies or if you lose your phone or whatever and you've got nothing else, well, you're just relying on the woggles. And you know, I miss them all the time. I'm sure lots of other people do. The track's pretty well signposted with them. It's just if you're daydreaming or you're sort of walking over a log and you look down, you may well miss it. And there's lots of other tracks that sort of crisscross the track, lots of access tracks, that sort of thing. Sometimes you walk on the access tracks, other times there'll be a little path off to the left or right. So that's what I use, and it's done me really well. It's also good because you can sort of have a look and see how much further you've got to walk to the next camp from exactly where you are, rather than having to, you know, sort of get out the map and, you know, write it down and try and work out how far you got to go, which sometimes is a good thing. Sometimes it's not nice to know how much further you've got when you think, oh, I must be nearly there, and you know, you've only covered a couple of k's since you last checked. But it is really handy. Lovely bit of bush. Taped up my feet just before I set off. I wasn't in pain or anything. I just know that I'm walking 16 k's. I might as well get my feet sorted before they become a problem. So I know where I get problems with my feet, and I also had some new sort of spots because I got different shoes this time that I was beginning to notice yesterday. So just put some band-aids that are good for blisters on those areas and topped it off with a band-aid on the top to try and hold it on. And I put 2 pairs of socks on it's wet and rainy, so my feet aren't going to get too hot. And hopefully I'll just stay comfortable all day and I can enjoy everything around me. Lots of birds this part of the track, which is nice. Some of the parts I've walked, there's just been like none. And there's plenty of flowers. If I knew anything about them, I'd tell you what they were, but I don't. It's 10 o'clock, 5K's in, 2 hours. It's not that bad, I guess, for me anyway. And I got some mobile phone signal, just happened to notice when I was checking Gut Hook. And so I managed to call my wife, let her know that I'm all good. I've been using the Spot. She's been getting my emails, but it was nice to talk to her, talk to my boys. They're completely jealous that I'm out here and they're not, but it's too far for them to walk. They're 6 and it's 31Ks. Last time I took them out, I'll link that video here. The last time I took them out, Will got a really sore leg. I think it was more just, you know, sore feet than anything else, but he said he couldn't walk, so I had to carry him the rest of the way. So I didn't want to do that again. So they're at home, but further on down the track there's places that are just short little walks that I'll definitely take them on and take them out for the night in the huts and that sort of thing, and try and get them back into hiking, because that sort of put them off a little bit. And I'm sure with weather like this, with rain, it really wouldn't go far in my you know, getting them into the outdoors and all that sort of thing. That can come later. The weather's cleared up. It's been raining pretty much non-stop since I left. Chance to get the camera out, but the forecast is that this is sort of it for today and tomorrow, so I just have to be content with the fact that it's going to rain. But it's nice, it leaves everything very fresh, and yeah, it's beautiful. I'm loving it. Some nice scenery starting to open up. I've just come out of a quite dense bit of bushland. Trail was really nice, really narrow and close up to the bush, which is what I like. These kinds of things, if not even narrower, just really makes the walk more interesting than a wide open path. And I think, well, I don't think, I'm fairly certain I'm about to hit where, well, we're going down, 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 and so we've got one of these hills we've got to get up, and they're all fairly steep, but that's life on the Bibbulmun. Can't all be flat. It's nice right now. We've got some water. Actually, I made the mistake of drinking most of my water already. So if I can find a running stream, I'll fill up. It's got a fair way to go. Don't want to run out, not that the weather's really hot. Oh, here we go. Maybe, yeah, I can find some water here to fill up. Lovely. This looks like a good spot to have a bit of a rest. Just took the bag off. It feels amazing getting it off. Nice bit, heaps of water. A bouncy old bridge. Yeah, I'll stop here for 10-15 minutes. Just a minute to eat. Another 7.4 k's to go, so I'm guessing with stopping maybe 3.5 hours to go, and it's 11 o'clock. Plenty of time, no rush. Nice spot. I stopped here, which is beautiful, and of course took my bag off, sat down, and it poured it down. Now I'm walking again. Look at the sky. It is incredible how quickly this weather really does change. So Bibbulmun's definitely something to do, but pick a good window for weather. I had to come out now because it was my only real chance at the moment, but I'm not complaining. I mean, I did know full well that it was going to be raining, so it's not like it's come as a surprise. Kangaroo. He's gone. Big boy. Looks like we got a bit of a hill to go up now. I think it's all uphill for a while. By the time I get to camp, I'm going to be appreciating taking this bag off, sitting down. Wonder if there's going to be anyone there today. Could be the whole trip full on solo. I don't mind that. I've been walking uphill, feels like at least a K, just keeps going. Well played, Bibbulmun, well played. Whew, can't wait to get to the top. Hopefully it's got a view. Oh, the track's leveled out for the time being. Boy, oh boy. Now I know how my four-wheel drive feels after taking it up long, slippery hill climbs. Oh, might treat it to a bit more servicing. Maybe I should treat myself to a bit more exercise. Woo! Stopping off here for lunch, and on my gut hook it called this place the Boulders, and I kind of had in mind something similar to yesterday, and I was going to stick the drone up, but I know I might keep it. I've got one battery, and if there's something worth it I'll put it up, but if there's nothing else I won't. Just not really worth it with the rain and stuff to damage it. It's on its last legs as it is. I'm going to stop here for 10-15 and crack on, and yeah, starting to sort of feel it now. I just smashed out a good few Ks without even realizing it, and I was going to stop earlier, but time just went on and I was in my own world. Made it here, so yeah, quick rest and then back on it. And that was the Boulders. We're 10.3 Ks in. Well, I'm 10.3 Ks in. Another 4.8 I think it was to go. I don't know, not too much longer. I'll be happy when I get there. The bib can be cruel sometimes. Well, the weather can be cruel. I sat down there looking forward to lunch, and just like everywhere else I seem to have stopped today, it started raining, so I packed everything up. I guess I get to camp a bit earlier, but it's dropped right off. Again, it's still raining, but it's We're getting Melbourne weather. I was sweating before. Temperatures dropped again. Seems to be just before the rain hits. It gets quite warm, humid. It rains. Obviously I get wet, cool down. But it's part of it. Part of the adventure. It's one of those things I probably enjoy more when I get back. I'm not saying I'm not enjoying it, but the memories are all the good stuff rather than, you know, getting a bit sore feet and achy back and all that. You kind of forget, because I've done some stuff where at the time I've just been thinking this really isn't for me. Whether I'm an idiot, I don't know, but I'm back doing it again. Bye. I'll speak to you in a few Ks. K's done, and there's only 3 to go. Just having a quick breather because I wanted to check where I was and just do a bit of adjustment on my backpack. Slowly starting to feel it now. I've got some more hot spots on my feet, so I'll sort them out before I head off tomorrow. I'm not going to do it now because, although I should, I'm pretty close to camp. But I just walked through the nicest section of track and I didn't film it, but there's just so many nice sections of track that, you know, sometimes I'm just taken in by it and I sort of just watch it and I don't film it. So it's kind of, I guess, my memory's kept up here for it, and gives you a reason to come out and see these places, because you can't, no one's going to document the whole track, and well, there's nothing like being on it. I know I watch a lot of Bibbulmun Track videos, and I kind of get the idea because I've walked on it of how awesome it is. But I think just watching it on a screen, it gives you a 10% idea of what it is. Not even that, a 1% idea. But walking it, yeah, you got to do it. And if you haven't done it for a while like me, get back out here. Best time to do it, because, well, we're going nowhere else, are we? I'll be there soon. Occasionally, the bib does this. No doubt I'd have probably been down here on a 4B trip. Randall Road. Cool. Now we got a 4B track to walk down, which I love driving down. Not a big fan of walking down. 1080. Someone's been shooting that with a 22 or something. Or a BB gun. So I won't eat any of the sausages I find lying on the ground like I normally do. So I'm on an access road, which means you could drive a car down here. And I know I've said I enjoy hiking and this is great and everything, but man, look at this. I'm gonna walk around it, but that in a 4B would be so much fun. Let's say, I don't know whether I've been down this track before or not. I don't think I have. But look at that. That's kind of Holland track worthy. That's awesome. I miss my 4B. Oh, I'll be home soon. Into the final K before I reach my last hut for this trip, Monadnocks. Glad to get there. The rain's just starting to pick up and looks like it might even possibly be setting in for a while. So be nice to get there, set up, see if anybody else is there. This obviously looks like it'd be quite easy to get to in a car. I don't know whether this is gated further back or what. Might not be. To check it out, it could be a good spot to come to bring the boys if it's just a short walk to the hut. But as I say, there doesn't look like there's been any cars along here for ages, so it may well just be that it's a restricted access track. I'll check it out. Oh, there's the turn off to Monadnocks, and I'm gonna be so happy to get these shoes off. They're not ideal for hiking, just my work shoes. And if I was a real hiker, I'd just be stopping here for lunch and cracking onto the next hut, which is definitely not me. This is 100% going to be my home for the night once I get there. Don't know how far down it is here, can't be far. I'll see it in a minute. Be happy. Huh. 2 woggles, because the track goes that way and the camp's up here. 100 meters. I really like the sound of that. Yep, I'm done for today. Not over it, but just ready to sit down. There's people there, but I'd be happy if there wasn't too. Just have an early night. I've got such an easy day tomorrow, but feet are pretty sore because I've got the wrong shoes on. Whinge, 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 I know, terrible. Check this place out. This place is awesome. So happy, so happy. I don't know how these guys do double huts. I've done a double hut before. I don't know how I did it. Oh man, what a day. Great day. But I'm happy to be here. This looks great. And the legends have left some firewood there. Again, don't know if I'll bother with the fire, but I might. Gaiters. I don't normally wear them because it's so wet. They help keep your pants dry, but they just make me hot as well. They just run that bit, so my pants are wet, but it ain't water. Yeah. Oh, getting out of those shoes is mighty fine because I'm pretty sure I got blisters, which is part of it, isn't it? But I take these awesomely trendy Crocs with me. And I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Crocs are pretty cool for adventuring because they've got 2 modes. So like in the mode I'm in now, that's just your standard slipper. But if I want to go off-roading in these bad boys, look at that. Flick it back, and that is your 4-wheel drive mode. So they might not look cool, but man, I can go anywhere. I can even go in water. So I'm all set up. Didn't bother going through the whole setup this time because you get the idea. We've all been camping before, no doubt. But I've got my tent and I've put it up on the top bunk for tonight just to give it a go. It won't be a comfortable night's sleep, but you know, something a bit different. And I've got all my wet weather gear drying out, which is completely soaked. Got my boots off, which I'm really happy about. Ready for dinner. Got everything sorted. So tonight again, gonna have mee goreng, which I never have really at home. I just save for trips, because I think if I have it at home, I'll get over it. I don't mind it. I mean, I'm happy. I like it spicy. It does the job. I'm going to have 2 tonight because I haven't got the sausages that were put in it last night anyway, and I was planning on tonight, but I kind of ate them on the way. But I'll stick some jerky in there. There's my dessert. I've ended up with an extra Cliff Bar. I think I bought 4. And well, so I'll have that as well maybe tonight. Got some nuts if I get hungry later, and my scroggin, which is the most unhealthy scroggin that you're likely to ever see, and I wouldn't recommend it. Does a job for me, and I bought way too much. I always bring too much scroggin. One thing to sort of well, I don't want to say make sure you do, because you want to bring enough food, but it's very easy to bring too much food and you're carrying it, and it quickly becomes an obsession with weight. I've been trying to get through this scroggin today without really being hungry, just because I know every handful I have, big fistful of this scroggin, is a couple of grams off what I've got to carry. I've got my my batteries charging. I'll charge this GoPro as soon as I'm done. My drone, I haven't had to use it today. Would have been nice, but didn't really have any locations that deserved it. And as I said before, it's sort of on its last legs, so I'm a bit apprehensive using it if I don't really need to. It's a DJI Spark. I've had it for a long time. I know it's not the best, and I have crashed it. I've been very lucky. I crashed it down south on the beach in really high winds into a rock, and I thought it was out to sea, and it landed on the shore and somehow didn't get any of the waves that were massive. And the beach was, you know, the tide was, well, the waves were coming right up the beach, and somehow it had just missed all that. Broke a rotor, or one of the arms, clean off. Got it fixed. Well, got my father-in-law to fix it, who's handy with those sorts of things, so I didn't fortunately have to pay for it, and it's hung in there. But the gimbal's all funny. I can't really shoot down. I do need to get a better drone. A lot of the stuff I do does warrant a drone. Maybe that's something that I'll get in the future if I can land myself a bit of extra coin. But anyway, I'm just rambling now. So I'm going to sign in. I haven't yet done that, but man, this campsite is, I think it's awesome. I like the way you've got stairs down to the fire. This is almost like some sort of like retreat. It is a retreat, really. But yeah, Monadnocks. I have heard of this campsite, and I wasn't sure whether it was because it's a really good campsite or because it's just quite a unique name, but I quite like it. I haven't had a look at around the tent sites yet, but I'll head down there later and show you around and see what that's like. But so far, I'm super happy with this being my last night before heading back to reality. And it's 2:30. So again, I've got plenty of time to just unwind and chill. And those guys that stop off at a hut, have lunch and crack on to the next one, I take my hat off to you. That's the way you properly hike. And I'm not a hiker. I just like being out in the wild. But I get it. I'm just not fit enough for that kind of thing. I should be. I really should be. I've got no excuse. But I'm happy right now sitting here until it gets dark. I'm going to have an early night. I've got ages tomorrow to get to the highway where my wife's picking me up. So I'm just going to have a really easy morning, slowly pack away and just enjoy it. See you at dinner, I think. It's only 4 o'clock and I've been sitting around relaxing, resting my feet, and I thought, wow, I know I said before, probably not going to have a fire, just like I did at the last campsite, but I want something to do. It's freezing, so I need something to help me warm up. So I'll go get some wet wood. I've got gloves on and everything. That's how cold I feel. I don't know whether it's because I'm just tired or whether it is cold. I think it is cold and I'm tired. And one of the things I said before as well is don't collect wood around the hut. It leaves the place looking a bit barren. It's good to have green stuff, but green stuff needs the dead stuff to help it grow, I guess. And also little bugs and stuff live in it, which probably most people don't want around their campsite, but we are sharing the campsite with the bush, so it was their home before ours, I guess. And I'm only here at night, I'm not here to live. So I'm going to walk up the track a little bit. Well, to be honest, I'm in the campsites, and the reason is because often people leave wood around campfires that they have around the tent sites, which you're not meant to technically do. You're just meant to use the fire pit that's provided, which makes sense because you end up with, you know, burnt bits of ash everywhere, which makes the campsites messy. Nice camping area, nicely spread apart. If you're in a group of 8 or more, you're meant to use the campsite rather than the hut, so that you leave it for the solo guys and all that are doing the end-to-enders, because they're doing it hard. But here we go. I've got some wood that someone has collected previously, and I'll just deliver that back to the campsite. I'll put it under the hut, I'll get something going, and then rest these near the heat to try and dry them out just a tiny bit. See if we can get something going. Managed to get it going last night until the rain really set in and it put everything out, but I was already in my tent. So fingers crossed a similar scenario for tonight, because it is going to get cold. It's going to be colder than it was last night for sure. There's a breeze coming through now, don't know if you can hear it. And I don't really mind because it's going to be an early night for me anyway. But in the meantime, wee, how you going? Just filming myself. So I had the embarrassing moment of walking into somebody as I was filming, so I cut it off shortly, and I'll see how he goes. But if he's keen, I'll introduce you to him. He's from Germany. Walking the whole thing, another end-to-ender, and I've got the fire going, which is nice, something to do and someone to talk to, which is also nice. Dinner soon. It's just gone 8 o'clock. Bloke that stayed here last night left about half an hour ago. Tom, top bloke, and recorded him and told me his sort of story about his hike that he's doing, and didn't hit record, which is a failure I've done a few times now. Missed out on some good footage thinking I was recording, but anyway. Beautiful morning. It was freezing last night. I ended up in bed at 6 o'clock. I didn't intend on doing that. I made my tent and everything. We got the fire going. I was going to make dinner, and I thought I'll just lie down and rest for half an hour. And next thing I knew, it was midnight. So I got up, made myself a cup of tea, and went back to bed and woke up again at 6 o'clock. So I was in my tent for 12 hours, which is nice because I'm pretty rested now. I didn't sleep too well the first night, and I've only got, I have to work it out, but I think it's only about 7 Ks, but 2 fairly decent hills to climb up today. But I've got until 3 o'clock, which is when Laurie's picking me up with the boys, and it'd be great to see them. I'm missing them now. And that'll be it. That'll be the end of the trip. So 2 days, 3 days, 2 nights, I think for me is pretty much on the money. I could possibly go another night. The next section of track, I've got to work out how I'm going to do it. It could be a 3-nighter, or I could sort of work out, you know, some tracks out just to get picked up and make it shorter than that. I do want to find some shorter hikes to bring the boys, but I've really enjoyed it, and with only 7Ks to go, it's safe to say I haven't had any major incidences yet, but you still got today, so who knows. I'm getting kind of low on the batteries now, so just charge them up for the final time, and hopefully that gets me enough juice to get through to the end, but I'm sure it will. Anyway, I'll pack up and be on the track soon. Just making some tea, boiling water to make tea, and just checking out the map. So I started at Canning here, and we're now at Monadnocks, and the final part of the trip is only 6.9 k's from Monadnocks to Sullivan Rock, but I've got Mount Cuthbert and Mount Vincent to cross on the way there. So although it's only 6.9, I've got to work for those 6.9 to get home. But you know, what looks bad on a map might not be, or it could be terrible. I'm not a big fan of walking up hills with a backpack, but I'm sure some people are, but not many. So I'm going to just eat as much as I can, drink as much as I can, and then just sort of try and either smash it out in one go, or I'll just take my sweet time. Sometimes once you get into the swing of things walking, it's easier just to keep going than stopping, because it's more exhausting, you know, stopping, having to get up and unpack stuff. And so see how I go. Yesterday I just ended up in a rhythm and it wasn't too bad. Towards the end my feet got really sore, so I'm going to have to sort of assess my feet, put some band-aids in places that I didn't have hot spots yesterday that I'm sure I will today. And then I'm back to work tomorrow, so hopefully my feet aren't too sore for that. Oh, here we go. All packed. Leaving camp 9:30. I've put a bit of wood around, token gesture. There's no real big bits, so there's a huge bit at the fire that didn't quite manage to get going last night, but that's all right, didn't need it anyway. So there's wood around. Taped up my feet, so I hope that they don't become a bit of an issue. I do have some blisters on there because I've just got the wrong shoes, which is probably the most important thing when hiking, is shoes. And everyone's feet are different, but my shoes are definitely not what you should wear. Goodbye Monadnocks. What a campsite. Definitely worth staying there. It's got a good view, and the weather's a little bit better today. Well, I hope it's not going to rain like it has. I don't think it will, so I haven't got the cover on my backpack, and I've ditched the jacket, so I may even get down to a t-shirt today. Suspect I will with all these hills I've got to conquer. 6.9 k's, not too hard. At another boot scrubbing station, I've just done my shoes. I got a little bit sort of lost for 5 minutes. The gut hook was telling me there's like a fork in the bib when there was no fork, so I just took a slight path, getting lost again, slight path out along like a dirt track. Oh, I'm getting disorientated again. Got to warm up this morning, my brain's not switched on yet. Anyway, this is the way. But I love the forest when it's like this, where you're all up nice, up and close. But when the growth on the ground gets quite sparse sometimes, so it's hard to see the tracks. That's where gut hook comes in handy. Plus, just then we think, uh-oh, lost the track. It's easy to sort of map out how to get back on it. So it saved me a few times. This is so far the steepest hill I've contended with, and there's another one that is even steeper by the looks of it, but starting to get a good view, which is, I guess, a nice payoff. That's what it looks like from the top. I made it to the top of this hill. It's not a bad view. .3 k's in and 4.2 to go, and hours to do it in. Oh wow, great view through there. Beautiful. You can see the sort of rain. It's almost sort of misty today. The rain is so light. Don't think we're going to get much. Now I've said that, you know what's going to happen. I made it to the top of the hill. Look at that view. I think I might get the drone up. Certainly rewarded by that view. There's probably just over a K of very steep path, crossing these sorts of rocks as well. So you got to kind of work out where the track is, but you can follow the pyramid rocks that people have made to sort of direct you up here, so it's not too hard. But yeah, it's great. Weather's just started to come in, but it's just a shower, I hope. this is steep. But beautiful. It's good to be walking downhill rather than up the hill, but I'm kind of thinking, oh, I'm so close to Sullivan's Rock. That must be it for the hills. I know there's two, and I know the next one's steeper. But, you know, it is what it is. We'll see what the next one's like. This hill, stunning. I'm at the bottom of one hill, one more hill to go. I'm still smiling, but let's see how I look when I conquer the other one, and then we're done. So I'm sure I'll be smiling once I see the boys in Laurie. I'll definitely be smiling. Just stop briefly because I'm lazy and unfit. Oh, well, I am, but I'm just going to take my jumper off because in the very, very near distance I can see the hill and it looks like a beast. So I'm going to just tackle it without all my gear on like the last hill and get all hot and sweaty for no reason, and I'm gonna eat some of my really unhealthy scroggin to give me a bit of a sugar boost to get up there. And this is the last sort of hurdle until the end, so mentally I'm easy with that. Now I guess it's got to be this hill to cross over, and it on the map looks like it's sort of straight up, straight back down, so no two ways about it, going up it. Woo! An ominous burnt bit of bush before the beginning of this hill climb. It's always wow, it's interesting. Hope the hill looks better. Track's just starting to slowly make its way uphill. We're at the very base. I'm going to take my sweet time up here. It's only 20 to 12, so I've got ages. Laurie's picking him up at 3, so I've got time to sit down and make food and stuff whilst I wait. Check out Sullivan's Rock. We're going up. That's the hill we've just come from. And there's the next one, so literally side by side, one after the other. Cool if you like climbing up hills.
Let go, rain. It's not your song to sing no more. Goodbye, blame. Weights can't lift you up, but you can find a way to drop them. Can you feel the wind? Say you do, it's how it all begins. Then comes reason, then purpose. Well, you will find your way. In the meantime, may the sun bless you with its rays. It's how we learn. It has to hurt, it has to hurt. Every single turn. Don't beg your pardon. You're not someone's victim. It has to hurt. It has to hurt. You can ask spring how it is when the buds are bursting. You can watch the birds when they fly across the world. Weights can't lift you up. You can find a way to drop them.
Made it to the top. A couple of hikers up here when I got here, and they're heading in to sleep at Monadnocks tonight, so told them I left some wood. Wasn't an awful lot around, but I left a little bit there, so hopefully it's dry by the time they get there. They've got better weather for it than I've had. Beautiful. really was a slog to get up. I was chatting to the 3 guys and cooled down really quickly. I put my jumper back on, so sweaty 1 minute and cold the next. That's the bib during winter. The view's probably not as, well, it isn't as good as the other hill, but yeah, I was thinking of putting the drone up. It's a bit windy, and well, I stuck it up the last hill, so it'd only be a slightly different perspective to what I've already got. And we're coming up to, in fact, no, I'll leave it. Special surprise coming up. Not really.
When the new ones weigh you down, you'll be on top of them. Oh, don't mind the falls, break down and when it burns, please don't be concerned, 'cause it's how we learn. It has to hurt, it has to hurt.
I think we're going down now. Ooh, it's gonna be a quick trip down. It's a fairly boring bit of track, but the surprise of this section is that it marks 100 kilometers since Kalamunda. So I've not walked from Kalamunda, obviously, but I did start there and have done the track in order, but a fair few of my trips have been sort of walk in and walk back out the same way that I came. So I'd have done 100 k's on it before that, but it's still doing the track in order, and I'm filming it all in order too. So that marks for these episodes 100 k's. And it's taken me 14 days because, well, I've done a lot of them with my boys, and the same, sometimes I'm only walking 5k in, 5k back out, but I'm loving it. And that marks a little bit of a significant moment for me. If you're walking from Kalamunda, well, congratulations. You know, I don't know how you'd feel though, 100 k's and you got 10 more of them to go before you get to the end. And the bloke that I was shed the hut with last night, he was up to, well, 4 days to get to here, which is pretty amazing. Wish I was fit like that, but hey, I drive 4-wheel drives instead, and we're not known to be the fittest lot, are we? It's just under or over half a k to go until I reach the Sullivan Rock parking, which is where I'm getting picked up. It's only 20 to 1, so I've got ages to wait, but that's all good. Give me a time to, I don't know, rest. Can do that in the car on the way home as well, and when I get home, but still a bit of extra time outside, never hurt anybody. Well, this is Sullivan's Rock. Just walked over most of it. That's it behind. I'm just going to find the car park where Laurie's going to pick me up in a few hours, and then I'll find somewhere to sit and relax and take it all in and think about the last 3 days. Get home and start putting all this footage together. But thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you again very soon for a 4-wheel drive trip, no doubt. Anyway, then the next month or so. Anyway, I'm Dan. Thanks for watching. Catch up.